Ladies, gentlemen, folks beyond the binary, grab your husband, wife, partner, mistress, inject whatever you feel is an appropriate amount of steroids, and gather around your radio. It's time for this week's meeting of the Erotic Thriller Club.
Not rude or crude, he's always tastefully nude. In this hardcore world, he's a softcore dude. His antithesis, mysterious and dangerous. And oh yes, they've got all the sexiest movies out on VHS. So if you're fatally attracted to the racier stuff, Erotic Film Club. Basically, instinctively crave the salacious. Erotic Film Club. If you want a racy movie and you're too classy for smut, Erotic Film Club. We can watch them and discuss them all ad nauseam. Erotic Film Club.
Picture this. You're a nice-ish desert lesbian that runs a gym. You meet a spunky bodybuilder, flirt with some steroids, and next thing you know, you're caught up in some real murdery family drama with James Franco's brother and your gun nut, bug weirdo, riff-raff looking motherfucker of a dad. This week on the Erotic Thriller Club, Love Lies Bleeding. Hello, friends. This week's meeting of the Erotic Thriller Club is now in session, and as always, you're here with Garrett Callender and Kit Ryan.
And we're here to answer the genre's three most important questions. Was I aroused? Was I thrilled? And would I ruin my life for this person?
This week, we're joined by our first returning guest. She's the host of the No Kids podcast and previously joined the club to talk Bound. Blair Gorman Diaz, welcome back to the show.
Hey! Oh my god, it is so good to be back. What a pod. What a perfect pod.
I don't think you could have come back for a more perfect companion piece to Bound.
That is
And Love
exactly what I
Lies
thought when
Bleeding.
you asked me that. That was the exact thought I had. Like, yes, absolutely, it is perfect. And also, I was just hoping you'd ask me because obviously I wanted to see it.
Perfect excuse.
Like, it's for business, babe. You can come with me if you want, but it's for business.
This is, the Kristen Stewart business. I think you and I
Yes.
would maybe have to fight to the death in a pit over this woman if I
I'll win.
were of a different gender.
I'll win either way, no matter what you change about yourself.
I
I'll
feel
win.
like this is unfair because I want to also be in that pit. So
You're already cleared to go. Like we have to fight because you're already like further ahead of us.
Well, I'll say
That's the only
I've been waiting in this pit before we knew she was a lesbian.
Well, and now you have to leave. Get out. There is no room for you here.
Is it
sir.
for you?
Is it for you?
So I want Rose Glass. I want the cast of this movie to know. I want everybody involved to know any jokes we make about this movie come from a complete place of love. Without having even talked to these two about this movie yet, we all fucking loved this movie.
Loved.
Yes.
this
No
movie.
notes. Other than more.
Like, I walked out and I was like, I have two thoughts. Number one, I want to take an entire like college level course just discussing this movie. And number two, I really want to talk to Garrett and Blair about it.
Also, third thing, I'm sure we all felt this. I really want to go pump some fucking iron.
Untrue. Even
What?
this movie could not make me want to work out.
No way. No
Nope,
way.
I'm just that lazy.
Well, as long as you were horny.
Yeah, you don't need to
Oh,
do
don't-
cardio. You just need glamour
doubt.
muscles.
Yeah.
Like you're not jogging.
Just biceps and abs, dude. That's all.
So before we even get into the content of this movie, I know I sent both of you a Twitter thread about this movie that had gone viral.
Oh my god. I picked the wrong time to delete my Twitter, I'll tell you that.
It seems like this movie is really hitting straight men in the fields.
Which
tweet,
kind of feels?
the penis feels. The tweet we saw was a photo of a man asleep in a chair with a pile of booze, cigarettes, vapes. I thought I saw a rolled up dollar bill next to him. And
I
if
think you
you
did.
and if you zoomed in, his penis, his tiny flaccid penis is in his hand.
It looks like a Muppet penis because it's, like, very pink and then very light tan. I'm like, "What? Is this a real wiener?"
And I believe the caption was, "This guy in my theater jerked himself to sleep."
Yes.
And the guy got intoxicated, masturbated, fell asleep in the movie, and apparently woke up to some police officers.
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, common problem.
All the time.
So when I went to see this opening day for us, because it opened on East Coast, West Coast a week early, so I didn't see it till I think the 14th. I walk in and it's just me and one other guy. And
No.
Oh no. Oh my god.
I know
No.
I look like a guy who would do that in a theater. That is my cross to bear.
Your eyes are too kind, Garrett. There's no way.
That's a really good point. But other than that, if you aren't looking closely at those kind, soft baby eyes, you might think that Garrett is
That's
a
true.
movie theater jerker offer.
Yeah, if you had more neck beard, I could see it.
I'm a chubby white guy with a beard. Like that is like Star Wars incel theater jerker material.
Mhm,
But as I walk into this theater, the other man that's here was I don't get him. He was probably late 50s, early 60s. He was wearing a paisley shirt. He looked like he was dressed for a date in 1975.
Oh,
Ooh.
no.
And he had
Honey.
I kind of love this man.
well, he had a look on his face like I ruined his jerk date that he had with this movie.
But with himself. Wait for it to come out on streaming, my guy. Come on.
No, that ruins the entire buildup of it.
Oh, right.
I'm sure he bought the ticket, like, sure, I don't know when you bought the ticket, but maybe he bought it, like, not that long before he actually went, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is a perfect crime. I'm in the middle," and then it's you, and then it's you in there. He
Damn
was
it.
so stoked. He wore the paisley
Oh.
shirt for himself, like, this was
Look,
his date.
no matter how big this theater is, he cannot get it up if there is another man in the room.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
peeing next to another guy at the urinals. Like you'd get some stage fright.
Mm-hmm.
Aw. Aw.
Um, yeah. So where was like I don't know what he was dressed for. Like I don't know if he was headed somewhere after, and this was going to get his mojo flowing.
He was taking himself on a nice date, Garrett, with himself.
Yeah, I
Like
do it all the time.
Yeah.
that.
Sometimes you want to treat yourself and feel pretty.
It's the equivalent of lighting a couple candles before you have yourself a little sesh.
Yes. Now
Using the nice soft face towel instead of toilet paper.
Yes.
I mean, what? I don't do that.
Did either of you have any characters in your
Oh,
screening?
Oh, I had a bit of a character. I mean, it's
Oh.
a bit. It was mostly so. There was a large man who was seeing it with two women, and he
Nice.
started cracking up at the ending and just could not stop saying, "She got big. She got big. She got big." And his female friend or companion, whatever, kept saying, I think it's a metaphor." They kept having this back and forth over and over again of "she got big" and "I think it's a metaphor."
Yes. Sir, did you not see
Sir.
any of this?
So your character was guy who didn't get the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But at least you did observe
exasperated.
that.
Yeah, you know what? He was awake. He did not jerk himself
Yeah.
off to sleep and miss the end. He was there the whole time, and he had a delightfully exasperated woman there to explain things for him, which men need more of, you know?
I wish I knew his Twitter handle so I could see like what he posted after.
I bet it's just "she got big" with a bunch of exclamation points and emojis.
I hope so. It's all the like the drooling emoji, but also the confused like monocle one too. Oh, I wish I had something that cool happen.
So
My second
sorry.
screening was just cool lesbians. It was just me and
There
the
you go.
so the second screening though I went with my notepad and I probably like I come in last so they see me and they're like, "Fuck,
Oh no, Garrett.
he's gonna be up there drawing pictures of the things that arouse him so he can remember them later."
It
That
also wouldn't
or
help if you said it's for a podcast.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, or they thought that you were there to take notes for your fucking podcast, and they
As I
would have been right about everything they assumed about you based on that information.
as I mouth breathe up the stairs to the back row.
Oh no. Oh, and you're in the back row. Oh
Well,
god.
yeah, because he doesn't want to, interrupt anybody.
The sound of the pencil scratching across the paper.
Right.
I'm
All right.
so glad you brought a notepad though, because I love to take notes before any podcast, especially one like this. And I was very upset that I didn't get to. So I appreciate you
Yeah,
risking yourself.
I've got so many notes for you guys. But I will say from the start of this movie, it does open with the crater, and you go into this crater, and it takes us to this desert town, and I could not tell if this desert town at the beginning, I couldn't tell if we were in 1991 or if this is just what desert life is like in 2024.
Honestly, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I knew ahead of time because I went to see it at an Alamo Draft House, so they had a
Ooh.
bunch of, clips of related stuff beforehand, and I did not really know what I was getting into except lesbians and bodybuilding. And they had so many like clips from like 80s workout videos and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I think I know about the time period we're in.
Also, I forget which movie it was now, of course, because I didn't get to write any notes down, but they mention a movie coming out. And so Bud and I clocked like, okay, it's now I even forget which year because I can't remember the movie, but it was like 84, 85.
Oh, I can get us even closer to the date, to be honest with you. After a second viewing, I didn't notice it the first time. Jackie, when she's all fucked up on steroids, which I had to Google, like, can you get high on steroids?
That's an important question.
Yeah.
Can you hallucinate?
It seems like that is not a side effect of roids, like roid rage, obviously, but
Yes.
I'm not gonna fight that on this, you know.
No.
It's a metaphor.
She got big. No, so while Jackie's all fucked up, posing to the TV, she's posing to the fall of the Berlin Wall, and you hear them talking about it
Oh.
happening.
Absolutely right.
Wait, so is that 89 then? Is that my birth year?
It would have been November 9th, 1989.
Wow. Wow, so I was already born. I could have been in this movie because I was already born.
As a baby.
As a very yes, baby. Very much baby.
But also earlier in it, you do hear George Sr.'s voice over the radio as they're driving around in the cab. So there are like some tells, but like my first viewing, I was like, this has to be like 91. I don't know. We were close.
I like that it wasn't obvious though, because in a lot of movies there'll be some really obvious indicator, like someone on the radio, like it is a cool, crisp day in 1985. Like, okay.
Totally normal thing to say on the radio.
I loved something I love in a movie. I love dirty people. I love grime, and this movie hit me
So
with the
Daisy's-
grimiest desert
Daisy's-
motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Easy's teeth really did it for you on that.
Greasy, the greasiness.
The line that came to my head immediately when I saw the people we're watching in this movie, or either of you It's Always Sunny watchers.
Oh yes.
The Wade Boggs episode when Dennis goes to sleep with a woman on the airplane and he's like, I thought she was Great Plains trash, but she's desert trash. I have to get off of this plane. I should have known from the gecko tattoo.
Oh my god, I need to rewatch the episode now after seeing the movie. That's so funny.
I spent the whole movie just thinking of Dennis in this world.
And
But-
being very unhappy.
our first shot of Kristen Stewart as we get into this gym is her
Oh my
elbow deep in some diarrhea clogging a
some
gym toilet.
literal shit. Oh,
Squelching, which does become a sound effect they use throughout the movie in a variety of different ways, is the squelching and the
mhm.
splorching.
They are not
Absolutely.
afraid to go full on with that Foley work.
Okay, so let's go ahead and start here since you brought it up, because Kit and I are no strangers to terrible Foley in some of these movies, especially
Mm.
some episodes that haven't even come out yet with really, really like bad Foley. This movie had some great squishes, like
Oh
top
yeah.
Oh,
notch
yeah.
Foley. And I would like to start with my favorite. Shortly after this scene, we meet Jackie for the first time, who is having doggy style sex with James Franco's little brother in the back of a car.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was him at first because of that face he's making.
Same, same.
I'm like, "Whoa."
He was
It ain't
cute.
pretty.
He
No,
was cute.
no, no, Garrett.
The Foley effect that was beautiful was the sound of him popping the condom off his penis
Oh
and
yes.
Yes.
slopping it out the window.
Yes.
God.
I was too distracted by thinking, "Oh, that's so nice they used a condom." I'm so
Jesus Christ.
glad.
Blair, your standards are horrifically low.
I've led a life, okay? I've led a life. Maybe not like Jackie's, but it's a life.
But Jesus.
Have either of you ever left a street condom
Absolutely
anywhere?
not. I am I do not believe in littering, okay?
I lost my virginity on the street. So,
On a
yeah.
literal street,
Yes.
like
Not
in
like
the
around people, but like I was at a punk show with someone I'd been with for quite a while, very sweet person, and we went around the corner and down the street to a more abandoned area, and we were smart and did use condoms because we were like 14, so of course we're going to be
so you're
good
telling me,
teens.
like as the Beatles said, you did it in the road.
Yeah, we listened to the song and thought like, "Oh, yeah, well, that's what you do, right? Like, this is directions directly to us."
You have no one to blame but boomers for your choices.
Exactly. I mean, is that not true in every way?
So that's a really good point.
Well, as I sit here and drink a rum and coke out of a Hard Rock Cafe, not
Yes.
It's lovely.
collectible glass, yes, I have
Not
littered the street
collectible
with a.
glass.
Am I the only one here who's fucking responsible? God.
We were responsible by using the condoms. That's all we needed to.
Well, I can only be so responsible. All right, I did one thing, and that means that I need to do no more.
Exactly. See? We're all in agreement here.
Mine was a shame one though because
Oh.
um I couldn't complete. I couldn't get
Oh.
myself to the point where I needed to be to make that happen, and it was embarrassing. And I left that home in shame, and I stuck that in my pocket because I didn't want to leave any evidence to remember how horrible of a night it was. And I believe it was either David Cross or Dave Attell talked about throwing a condom on the street like some crazy urban Johnny Appleseed. But
I think that's David Cross. Don't I mean, it could be either one, but I want to say it's David Cross.
Not heard that one before.
That's so funny.
And you're doing the opposite of planting seeds, though, because that seed won't grow.
Yeah, you killed millions of potential Garretts, little
Mhm,
Garretts.
so as we pass Jackie
mhm.
and we finish Kristen Stewart's shift at the gym, which I assumed she owned it. Later, she says she just works there. Apparently, the only employee.
Well, her dad
I
owns it.
Dad owns it.
Her
Yeah,
dad does. Is that why it's
yeah,
called Crater's Gym? Because the crater's where they
yeah,
hide all the bodies.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Yep.
Everything's connected,
It's
man.
all good.
Mhm.
But
Get out the red string.
Kristen Stewart never becomes more attractive to me than the first time we see her go home alone.
Yes.
She is such a fucking dude. She gets
Mhm.
home,
Mhm.
pops a TV dinner in the microwave, feeds her
Mhm.
cat, eats a little TV dinner, jerks off on the couch.
Don't forget, smokes a cigarette while listening to a tape about not smoking cigarettes.
God, I love that. It's what a metaphor right there. Speaking of
She got
metaphors.
big.
Yeah.
I really love how much she takes care of her cat because I usually, before I watch any movie at all, I have to look at doesthedogdie.com. I get
Mhm.
very stressed out, and I didn't get to do that at first. And I'm like, oh no, all this stuff's happening. Is cat going to be okay? And like, they very much address like, we take cat come with us, cat okay. I'm like, oh, thank
They're
God.
not gonna listen. These are U-Haul lesbians. They're not gonna let
They're not going
anything
to leave
bad
the
happen to the cat.
cat.
They're not leaving it behind.
From this point, we see that Jackie is homeless. She's doing pull-ups under the bridge. And then from her just like getting fucking jacked under this bridge, we see Kristen Stewart walk into her sister's house, who going into this movie, I didn't know that one of my high school crushes was also in it. Jenna
And I'm
Malone.
Love
alone.
that girl.
Yes. Boy, she can really make herself look like anyone. She has such an interesting face. Like clearly it's her, but I almost didn't recognize her at first. Not because of the bruising, but
I was
just
gonna
the
say,
way
is that
I
because of
mean, yeah.
this
But no, the way she
mangled?
was like carrying herself and the like her resting face, like I almost didn't I had to do a double take, like, oh shit, that's Jenna Malone. Hell yeah. So that and it's weird that she's with James Franco. I mean, oh my god, Dave Franco. Excuse me. It was a moment.
Franco.
We find out that the man who was banging Jackie, who we just met, is her sister's husband.
Bum, bum,
And
bum.
she's beat up, so you can tell like he is a piece of shit. Don't be fooled by his use of the condom. Be more. It turns out the throwing out of the window was the red flag that Kit thought it
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
not the sensitive
Thank you.
cute moment that Blair thought it was.
Don't litter. By the 80s, especially by 89, Captain
Ew.
Planet existed by 89. And
God,
we were already taught to not litter. There was
Arbor
very
And the
much
Native
Earth
Day.
Day,
American
Arbor Day,
crying.
Earth Day.
That's the Native
Yeah.
American.
Yeah, the Native
crying
American crying, a single
commercial.
tear. Come on.
Arbor Day. Come on, we had
It's
all
all
this
out
shit by
there.
then.
Also, I think Earth Day is my birthday. So you're welcome.
Oh.
There you
Everyone.
go.
Well, I will no longer litter my seed all over the gutters of Los Angeles.
You come back here just for that. That's great.
So we see that James Franco's brother. Well, I should just call him Dave Franco, but how about we just
No, don't
let's
do
settle?
that.
Let's settle. Let's
No.
settle for Lil Franco.
Lil
Lil
Franco. Okay.
Oh, I
Lil
love that for him.
Lil
Yeah.
Franco. The sex was transactional. He's taken Jackie to meet Ed Harris at a gun range where
But he
she's
said it was
gonna
magical, Garrett. He said it was magical.
Mhm.
the sex or the gun range.
Yes. No, the sex. He said that was magical.
And she was like, "Can I have the job?"
Honestly, like maybe the best dude thing he did in this whole movie was actually
True.
follow through on
Actually
getting
hook
her the
up with
job.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
true.
point.
Good point.
Which
It seems like he treats his kids well, so like 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
this
Stretch.
gun range is bonkers. Like the bar looks kind of nice. It looks like there's a ladies' night at the shooting range. It looks like there's not a lot to do in the town. So this gun range is banging. It's hopping.
Hoppin'. I was not familiar with the concept of a gun range slash bar. Didn't know that was a
No.
thing.
Not at all. I'm a California gal. Have no clue.
That may be a thing that disappeared, but also I could see, it's the desert. There's no rules. Everyone in this movie is caked in a fine layer of dirt. Like it is
At best, a fine layer of
Honest.
dirt.
Like, I just kept feeling bad for, like, if you're not Kristen Stewart, like, your skin, man, cannot
Yeah,
be doing
boy.
well in these circumstances.
No way.
as far as beauty, fashion, and grooming, her haircut in this movie, there is a place in Nashville. You should absolutely follow this Instagram account. It is the most fucking bonkers haircuts. It's called
boy.
Local Honey. And basically, they'll charge you $400 to have Kristen Stewart's haircut in that movie.
I'm looking it up as we speak. I'm also
Um,
glad you brought up the hair
That
situation.
is so clearly something that her character cut herself, is the hilarious part. Like,
Definitely.
obviously, she did that herself.
I cannot be at the right local honey because this is too nice. It is in Tennessee though.
No, it's
Uh,
nice. It's a nice, like,
it's
salon, like,
very
people go there
nice.
to spend a lot of money
But there
to
you're gonna
get
spend a
a
lot of
mullet.
money and have your hair look
There are
just
a
like
lot of like very coiffed people in overalls, so that's how you know.
that. Yeah, that's
That's how
Well,
you know.
you move here from New York and pay $400 for them to shave your head into a mullet, and now you're a local.
I thought the whole point of moving anywhere from New York is that you would no longer have to pay $400 for a
You
haircut.
want a little taste of home, you know?
Mm,
Welcome to Nashville, baby.
Mm.
Um,
Well, I'm glad you brought this up because I have a couple of quotes about the
yeah.
hair
oh,
from
please.
Reddit. Just a couple quick ones here.
You're telling me that after watching this movie, my first thought was, I wish I could take an entire like film and gender studies class about this movie, and your first thought was, I gotta go see what people on Reddit are saying about this.
No, it was like my 10th thought. There's a lot going on. But I just had to see what Reddit had to say. I do that for my own show because I screenshot quotes that people are saying about my own show and I print them out and tape them on my cube. And it's nice. But there was a lot of, mostly people are saying wonderful things about this movie, including this by username Mikey Fresh with two H's for some reason. When Kristen Stewart showed up on screen, I said, damn, that's a sick mullet. And then when Dave Franco showed up on screen, I said, damn, that's a sick mullet. And then when Ed Harris shows up on screen, I said, damn, that's a sick mullet. Everyone in this movie looks like they have a Molly Hatchet tape stuck in the cassette player of their El Camino. And I think that fucking rules.
Oh man, thank you, Mr. Fresh, for
He
that.
also went on to say the skullet is still a member of the mullet family. In many ways, it's the patriarch of that family, to
Mm,
which Yeltsin Your Mouth says, baldness is a party in its own way.
mm.
That's the end of the hair ones. I have one that circles back as a full circle to our history together, but I'll save that for later. But people are talking about the hair. People are talking about the
Oh
damn
yeah.
hair.
Well, so you mentioned Ed Harris, and I said in the intro, I referred to him as a riff-raff looking motherfucker. This is
Yeah,
like
that is accurate.
if Riff Raff from Rocky Horror were 75 years old, had a bug fetish, and worked at a gun range. I mean, just to make him even more disgusting, when they meet Ed Harris, he's playing with like a big like fuck. He said what it was, and I didn't write
Slug?
down
Larva of some sort? A
it.
big old larva?
Well, his quote about it is he goes, "This larva likes the moist and cozy," and I was like, you just
Mm.
made half the theater throw up with the word moist alone on top of that like
Yeah.
long ass hair. It was
Don't
The
worry,
hair of
Dave
the
Franco
bug.
had to comment on it. And he said, "Yeah, me too," or something like that. Or like, "Don't we all?" Like he had some sort of further comment. You're like, "Thank you. We are all aware of what he was trying to say. Thank you very much."
Yeah, we needed that.
after Jackie gets her job, we go back to Kristen Stewart at the gym. And Kristen Stewart, if she just has to keep just winning me over, she's basically Randall from Clerks at this gym.
Oh
Mm,
my
mhm,
god,
He is
you're so
such an
mhm.
right.
asshole to every fucking member. Like somebody's like, the toilet's clogged, and she's like, well, use a different fucking toilet. And like,
I mean,
we're closed. Fuck off. Like she has
Turns off the lights.
yeah, and they are not. It is just that a hot chick has come in and you saw that other people were hitting on her and you wanted to hit on her. So you were like, we're closed.
Let's abuse my
Everybody
power.
well, and just to let you know how bad she is at being the front desk worker and only employee at this gym, did she not check Jackie in? How is this the first time she's seen Jackie from across the room?
That's
Like,
true.
did Jackie
Dang,
just
that's a good
meander
point.
in? And
I
I
mean,
think she
Jackie
did.
does seem like she's pretty used to sneaking into places and using various services without paying.
with
That sounds
that
about right.
build, you cannot hide in plain sight.
And it's a really good
But you
point.
can be intimidating.
K-Stu was not intimidated, uh, but she was sitting there with her face in a book. And I want you to know, the second I got out of that theater, I Googled to try and buy a copy of this book.
Of
And
course you
this
did.
book, the cheapest copy I can find was $100
Oh
because it's
my
out of print.
god.
The
What book
book,
was it again? I can't remember.
it was a book called Macho Sluts
Yes,
by
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
by Pat Khalifa. And it's a book of erotic short stories written by a lesbian who is now a bi trans man.
Oh.
Whoa! Oh my god.
And looking through, it looked like this like kind of era, like right around when this movie was supposed to take place, this lesbian writer was putting out a bunch of nonfiction and fiction, like short stories about sexuality and whatnot. And looking, all these books are out of print, so
Oh, damn
Mm.
we're
it.
fucked. But some of the other titles, Doing It for Daddy, short and sexy fiction about a
Yes.
very
Yes.
forbidden fantasy.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh, Sensuous Magic, a guide to S&M for adventurous
Ooh.
couples.
Ah.
And while Khalifa was still a lesbian, they wrote many years a sex advice column for a gay men's leather magazine called Drummer. So
Drummer.
maybe Brad has a stack of those in his closet
I
that he
guarantee
can.
you.
That's awesome. Oh, the attention to detail in this and
Yes.
the
And
nods to
the
specific things.
when the cop is just like kind of idly leafing through it while he's supposed to be like doing his job, asking questions, and instead he's just like looking through macho sluts in the background. I love that.
Like you can't avoid it. You can't not look at it.
I mean, right?
The nod to that's a great nod, and obviously to pumping iron in the cold open situation is great. But
That cold open with all the close-ups of sweaty dude nipples. Well,
yeah,
let
so
me.
funny.
And the score, there are not, I'm not a big like score guy. Like I don't go out of my way to re-listen to the scores of movies, but this is the one guy who scores movies that anytime I'm like, god damn, that was really good, who was it? It's always him. Clint Mansell.
That's a great name.
And he's scored like oh fuck, like I mean he scored a bunch of stuff. He did a lot of the Aronofsky movies, things like that.
Ooh,
But
okay, that makes sense.
we'll get into like some of the sexy scores he did like once we get to those scenes. But
Absolutely.
really love the late 80s early 90s synthy vibey
Oh my
sounds
god,
he was
yes.
giving us.
Yes, yes.
We see Kristen Stewart walking outside after she's kicked everybody out of the gym because she doesn't like them talking to Jackie. She's outside smoking a cigarette, and I realize in real life my sister runs a very nice gym in Austin, Texas.
What?
Mhm.
If I ran a gym, it would be this one that I'm mean to the customers, smoking cigs, and the toilet is perpetually filled with shit.
Just so much. What is
And
going on
everybody
there?
only goes there because you are literally the only gym in town.
Definitely.
You can either
Can't
go
be
to this
more.
gym or do pull-ups under the bridge with Jackie.
Those are your only options.
Win-win, honestly. I'm
I
I'm
mean,
into either
really.
one.
This is the only scene in the movie that I can tie back to my favorite movie. As they're talking, the strong man she's talking to is Keith Jardine, former UFC fighter who is in Crank 2 High Voltage and watches
Oh.
Chev Chelios electrocute himself on a electrical box outside of a building.
Wow, I haven't seen that in forever, and I know exactly the scene you're talking about.
Yeah, same.
Wow.
But
I'm
That's
pretty sure the only
awesome.
time I've seen that movie, I watched it with Garrett. So
That makes sense. I mean, maybe that's when I watched it too.
so yeah, they're out there smoking. They run into Keith Jardine, who she was talking to inside. She's like, "Fuck off! I'm hanging out with my lady friend." They get in an actual fight, and
yeah.
Jackie is
Yeah.
such a fucking babe, badass, large woman with
Mhm,
like
mhm.
Big. She got big.
she got so big.
She got big.
I am the host of a pro wrestling podcast, and to quote a canceled pro wrestling owner that we all hate now and have hated for a long time, to be honest. So big.
uh,
Jackie, like we've gotten very little time with her up to this point to actually see her. And once her and Kristen Stewart go back in the gym, sit down, start hanging out, Jackie is so fucking spunky and optimistic.
I
She's
know. I
such an
love
immediately
her.
lovable person.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes. She's glowing. She's glowing in so many ways. I mean, clearly from the sweat on her
Endorphin.
muscles, the endorphin, but like she as a human being is just absolutely glowing.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can
I'm
see
in love.
why
I'm in love.
Kristen Stewart or Louise, I believe it's short for,
Yeah,
like
Louise.
falls for her instantly and is just like so taken
Ugh,
with her.
that moment when the camera is acting as her vision and she
Hmm.
first really narrows in on Jackie is like it made me tear up a little bit. I'm like, oh, that's such a real moment. It's not like she's just like,
Mm.
dang, look at that ass. Oh, woo, wooga. It's like she sees her. She really sees her. And like, yes, she does have great tits and a great ass. Yes. But she sees her entire self and it just was very touching.
It's very sweet.
I had never seen such a buff woman nude before, and I was always kind of wondering what female bodybuilder boobs look like.
And did this answer your question, Garrett? Do you feel wiser now?
I've seen them now, and I
I've
didn't know
seen them
how
now.
I
We
didn't know
went.
how muscly they would be, and they were still very nice. They were. It was a. I don't know. Like I said, I watch pro wrestling. I spend a lot of time watching like very beefy, muscly women.
And
Uh,
then wondering what they look like with
Yes.
their
And wondering
clothes
what they
off
look
because
like with
you're
their clothes on.
also classy.
to be fair, I wonder what every single human on this planet
I
looks
mean,
like nude.
same. Absolutely same. Not even in a sexual way. I'm like, I just want to know. I see you. There's clothes in the way. I want to see what's going on there.
If we were walking down the street and a random person walked by and you're like, you have the opportunity to see them nude. I have a photo. Would you like to see? They consent.
Oh,
I
well, if
would,
they consent,
Yes.
sure.
Well, yeah, of
yeah,
course.
of course. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to,
Yes.
you
I
know,
stage managed a show up here in Chicago called Living Canvas, which has nude actors with like projections on their bodies.
Oh, ooh.
And then there's like music and dance and short scenes incorporated. Then at the end they invite anybody who wants to come just
No
like
way.
declothed to whatever you feel comfortable with and just like join everybody up here as we put various projections up. And so I've seen a more surprising like amount of humanity naked than I thought I would while working there, and it was a really nice experience, I have to say. I even joined in a couple of times. Like,
Oh, I love this. Oh
yeah,
my
you
God.
missed out, Garrett. You could have been naked with me.
so after they're hanging out for little bit, a little flirty, Kristen Stewart offers Jackie steroids, which Jackie says she can't afford them. She kind of breaks down the story, lets her know she's coming here from Oklahoma. She's on her way to Las Vegas for a female bodybuilding competition. Kristen Stewart offers her steroids. She says she can't afford them. Kristen Stewart says she gets them free, which we find out later she paying for
Not
that shit.
for you.
Hmm.
She's paying for
She just
that.
wants to impress her. I
Well,
She's
get
how
a
it.
simp. She's a
pretty.
simp. Yes.
Yeah, but in
You
a
There,
kidding
cute
me?
way.
there was a cute
Either of
little
them.
moment in that conversation that like was the only thing I was able to like type on my phone real quick before I would have disturbed other people. And I didn't even quite know how to write it down, but like when she gets up to go get the thing before Jackie knows what it is, when Kristen Stewart gets up, she does this cute little like kick on her foot. And it was just such a like cute little real flirty thing that
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
is not something. There's no way that was in the script. There's no way that was in the direction. Like it was Kristen Stewart's choice and like their chemistry together, where she's just like being playfully like not even aggressive or anything, but like just playfully physical with her. And I just thought that was so sweet and like very real to how like sapphic relationships are. There's a lot of that like physical playfulness there, and I don't know. It was just really sweet.
It's really, you really end up rooting for them from the very start.
Yeah,
Like a lot
yeah,
of these kinds of movies, the relationship has to grow on you a little bit. Like they always want you to want the relationship to succeed immediately, or they want you to be invested or believe in it immediately. But sometimes it doesn't work. This time, the whole time, you are 100% like, I want these two crazy kids to make it work.
I know.
It is a relationship with high highs and low lows.
That is
That
absolutely
is the
true
honest
too.
truth. You bring it back to reality, yes.
Which is interesting because like the whole movie has this like underlying theme of like it's hard to quit things that are bad for you even
Yeah.
when you know that they are bad for you. Like with the
Yeah.
smoking being the most obvious like
Mhm.
metaphor, and then there's obviously
An
Um,
abusive relationship.
an abusive relationship. And
Mhm.
then there's Kristen Stewart's relationship with her dad, Ed Harris,
Yeah.
and how like she still works at a gym he owns and she lives in this same town and she could have left all this behind, but she can't, right? And it's so I never was quite sure like are they telling me that this relationship is a thing that is good or bad for these characters because like Kristen Stewart introduced her to steroids which goes really
Not
bad.
great. Not a great idea.
And at one point in the various roid rages, Jackie does some pretty heinous things to threaten her life.
I mean,
And
twice she pulled a gun on her, I
twice she
believe.
pulled a gun on her. She headbutts her at one point and like makes her bleed. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want this to be a bad thing. So I felt very conflicted about like, is this a relationship that just seems toxic, or is it actually toxic, or is it that they're just so obsessed? Like, I felt very conflicted about it. I would love to hear what you thought about it.
Absolutely had the same conversation in my head the entire time. Like it's and I think that is the point. So I'm like, okay, I'm on the money here because that's what they want us to think. That's what they want
Right.
us to feel. But I mean, I guess it's also like they both had such clearly negative toxic pasts that it like even if this isn't 100% good, like it is in the right direction for both of them. And you see a little bit of that when Kristen Stewart first gets mad at Jackie when she finds out she slept with her brother-in-law
Brother-in-law. Yeah.
brother-in-law, and so she's being like really distant and withholding and avoidant. So she's continuing her like pattern of toxic traits while Jackie's obviously living her toxic traits. And then she gets out of the car and is going to leave. It looks like they're going to break up, but in that moment of just like pure desperation and like point of no return, they both come back to each other, and like Kristen Stewart admits that she is a withholding person and she
Mm.
gives her some vulnerability there. And so I think that is a turning point for them. We're like, okay, there is a chance for them to be in a healthy relationship, even though clearly everything that happens in the movie is just terrible in every way. Like there
Well,
is a
both of
chance
them
for
are
them to bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, because they're both dealing with so much like trauma and like just shitty life stories up till now. I mean, good God, it seems like there's only one other lesbian in this entire town, and it's
I
There is.
know, and
Jackie.
she sucks, and her teeth suck. And
Yeah,
on
exactly like
IMDb,
that.
they don't say her name. On IMDb, she's Gym Woman, and like she
She's
had a
Daisy.
name
What?
many times in the movie,
That's
many times.
wild.
Daisy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Daisy,
we'll
not
go with
Gym Woman.
Daisy.
Yeah, the
Um,
actress Anna
You're closer than
Barishnikov.
I am. There you go.
Anna Barishnikov. Her character, which we see throughout this movie, pops in and out like Wayne Campbell's ex in Wayne's World,
Oh my
where at a
god.
certain
Oh
point,
my
like
god.
obviously Kristen Stewart can't say this line because she does, but it's like, I don't own a gun, let alone many guns, enough to necessitate an entire rack.
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah.
We broke up, live in the now.
And yet, like, it's at the same time, like, in case two, like, she does give Daisy money and try to send her off to the bar without her. Like, she's doing her best to, like, get this girl laid elsewhere.
Yeah, she's trying to like not just say fuck off. She's trying to be like, here's also a nice, like a little Red Riding Hood basket of lunch or something. Like, here's something for you to take with you. It's the best she can
Up to
do.
grandmother's house.
While she has her new girlfriend, Daisy is just like waiting for her at work in the weirdest place of the gym, which is just tables with ashtrays. I've been to quite a few gyms. I've never seen a smoking section.
I mean, you
Appreciate it.
weren't there in the 80s when literally everywhere had a smoking section, including, I guess, gyms and, like, health centers.
I mean, Wendy's still had the smoking section, I think, when we were little.
The place that I remember getting rid of the smoking section last in my lifetime was Steak and Shake. That was the place that I remember most clearly having
I'm
a
sure
smoking
that
section.
makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Steak and shake and cigs, definitely.
Oh, I certainly had a cigarette and a moons over my hammy at a Denny's at some point.
Yes. I'm sure Denny's still wouldn't fucking say shit.
Probably
It's
not.
Denny's.
They'd
Unless
say, "Thank you
they
for coming."
unless there's a
Yes.
cop at another table, in which case they would feel obliged. But
No, they'd be off
otherwise,
duty. They'd be off duty. It's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, it's not their problem.
So after the steroids, we go back to Kristen Stewart's house where we see the first sex scene.
Oh,
We basically get within what the span of 15 minutes, 3 sex scenes. It's like every 5 minutes we get a mini sex scene.
Hell yeah.
And this first one, I bet that they had to have cut something.
yeah.
Um, it's mostly Kristen Stewart going at Jackie. You see her kind of work from the top and work her way down. And the moment that like it cuts so fast that you can tell the MPA is like, you cannot show her face near those pubes for more than 1.5 seconds.
They should have done it like Bound, where it was all one take and you couldn't cut anything.
Yeah. I love how just in any lesbian sex scene in any way, it's always like you have to make sure the leg that's closest to the camera is completely blocking anything you could ever see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There has to be thigh blocking 3/4 of what you could see happening. That's
I want to see
100% of all movies.
nothing but mullet on the other side of that thigh.
Not even a movement either, like, just
Not
know that
even
it's
movement.
there, but nothing else. I think I thought of that. I mean, Bound is the closest to where you see anything, like, fully happening. That's true. It's very true.
And from this scene, like day one, Jackie moves in and
Yeah,
she
Ultimate U-Haul,
criticizes
baby.
she
yeah,
she
really.
she criticizes Kristen Stewart's egg making, and Kristen Stewart like seems slightly offended, but
Mm.
does do it the way Jackie wants, and the next time you see her making eggs. So
Here's
she
Mhm.
the
is
thing, I was questioning this from like a breakfast perspective and like a bodybuilding perspective. Okay, I thought that like I mean in the Rocky movies, isn't he like drinking just straight egg yolks? So wouldn't she want the egg yolks in the breakfast for the protein or whatever? Is that not I mean, I don't
No, the egg whites are what people doing what Jackie's doing want. I do not subscribe
Oh,
to that. I would like the entire egg. I'm not gonna
oh.
fucking waste that. You can go fuck yourself, but yeah, that's very much a thing is egg whites.
it's it's true because like I said, she's there for the glamour muscles.
Yeah,
Rocky
yeah.
was having to build
Um,
cardio, and
right. Well,
he's
he
like
has to fight the Russians, so
Old
yeah.
Dolphy.
If you're taking on the entire Soviet Union, you gotta have the egg
Yeah,
yolks.
true.
Stallone has been very open his entire career about being on steroids. Like he
Yeah.
has never denied it, and
Which
hey,
I
he's still here.
respect. Like
Yeah, I appreciate that.
he's not in the fucking Olympics. He has to look a certain way for his job, and he's not cheating because this isn't a competition. You're just
Hmm.
supposed to look a certain way for the camera, and if you're willing to do that to your body, who am I to tell you not to? People get plastic surgery to be in movies,
Yeah,
and
what's
like
really the difference overall? I mean, I guess one's a direct drug, but like you're still altering your body in a way that you don't necessarily have to. So more power to you, I guess.
and I mean, I wouldn't do it, but again, like, not everybody's me.
I'm more mad about wasting the egg, but I'll leave it
Yeah,
at
yeah, that's fair. That's totally
that.
fair.
Well,
For
that's just
real.
because 2024 Blair knows how much eggs cost in the
Yeah.
future.
Oh my God, in LA, like I don't know what's going on in your area, but LA, it's
It's
eight
cheaper to get a
dollars is the
chicken.
minimum.
Just
Yeah,
get
you
a chicken.
seriously should. But you can't have enough land, you can't have enough yard to get a chicken here. So
Mm,
definitely not. But there's yeah, I haven't found like eggs that aren't like abusing chicken eggs for less than 7.99. It's just not a thing.
Fuck.
yeah, so do not waste those egg
Yeah,
yolks.
you keep those yolks, okay? You can
Um,
preserve them.
but
Something.
yeah, so Jackie moves in and she's like immediately like, "Hi, I live here now, and I don't like the way you make eggs." And you know, I definitely got that. Like, I worried for Kristen Stewart's character. Like, oh no, she's not just pretending to get a room, is she? This isn't just like the same thing she was doing in the truck with Lil Franco, I believe we decided to call
Yeah,
him.
Lil
Correct.
Franco.
This isn't the same thing, but on like a larger scale, is it? Because like my heart can't take it if you're doing that to this sweet girl who took the egg yolks out for you. And I was glad that I was wrong, but it meant that I really felt like the same like hint of like paranoia that Kristen Stewart does when she finds out that she had sex with Lil Franco, and like, oh wait, hold on, am I just a meal ticket for you? And yeah, it made me
I
feel
do
threatened.
have one asterisk to that though, but yes, you are not wrong. But I think maybe I'm reading this wrong, but just as someone who also enjoys women, uh, they they very much have like a power play relationship, not not in a direct like this is a fetish way, but if you notice the way they fuck, like they do switch on each other a lot,
Hmm.
and I
Mm.
think that the egg comment was very much like a little cheeky jab, as if like I'm going to present this thing, are you going to do it for me, not in a manipulative way.
Oh.
But I do see why they played that way, and of course in a moment of like, oh
Weakness
my
and
god, what is going
fear.
on, she's going to question that. But I think it was more like, oh, we switch on each other, like I'm going to play with you like this, so it was like, it was a flirtation in that way, where they switch on each other and they jab at each other. uh
Yeah.
but I could be wrong, it's just how I read it considering how they fuck.
Well, and you
Yeah.
say that, but after the egg thing, like literally after the egg thing is the next sex scene, which is, and I mean, the way I wrote this is Jackie now is going down on Kristen Stewart, but the way that it's happening is like, it's fucking animalistic. It's like a
Yeah,
fight.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it is like a fight, which I do like when that happens.
She's
Look,
holding
it's
her up
not
like she's gonna give her a power bomb and slams her into the wall, and it's like Kristen
yes.
Stewart's hands are back, and it is like she is on a bull. Like, she
I
is
think she
like,
literally says, "Oh shit!" Like she's like,
she's
"Oh
like,
shit."
fuck.
Which I love for them. Like,
He's
it
so
looked like a
sweet.
good time to me.
Yeah, I think they had an okay
I
time.
think that they enjoyed themselves.
Just a guess.
Just I guess. They did it again later, so.
I guess it's fine.
From there, the next sex scene, Jackie's doing pull-ups and Kristen Stewart starts doing some toe sucking.
Ugh, no, thank
Mm.
you.
Not my thing, but like, you know what, I'll respect it. You know?
Yeah, do what you want.
From there, we see Jackie, who's been working at the bar at this point, at this job, and like you see her, she's a waitress at the bar. Honestly, there's some bars in Japan that she would make bank at, like the strong lady bars.
There's strong lady bars?
Oh, they fucking pick you up there, Blair.
What?
Like,
That's
I
like the
wanna go.
thing. Listen, a girl that I went to high school with, that I was very good friends with, then went on to become a dominatrix, specifically in that her thing was she did wrestling. She worked out a lot and would wrestle guys, and there wasn't even necessarily sex involved. It's just that they wanted a strong woman
Oh yeah,
to
that's a very
wrestle them.
popular fetish
Yeah,
that
and she's not that much
I
taller
love.
than me. Like, she's not a big tall woman in the same way that that we see in this movie. But like, she was cut enough that she could do it, and you know what? Like, hey, that's I get the feeling that like having a big strong like a big mommy, strong mommy like thing has become in these days in the same way I think it was in the 80s, that like it's I don't know, like fetishes can be like trends, right? I think there's a
Yes,
trend. There's
absolutely.
a
It's
trend
gone
for
from
strong
piss to
women.
big women. I love that. I'm glad we're stepping away from piss into big
Oh
women.
my god, Blair!
And you know it's true.
Jesus
You know it's
Christ.
true.
I'm just
Everyone's been
really
so obsessed with
I'm just
piss.
really glad we're getting out of our piss era.
I know. I'm so glad piss hair is over. It's out. Anyway.
while Jackie's on break, she's doing her posing in front of just kind of a target that's against the wall. Ed Harris sees her just standing there and does the most psychotic shit that he's done in the movie, which is pull out his fucking gun and shoot the target next to her goddamn head. And
Yeah.
she just says, "I'm on break," and he's
It
like,
was
Yeah.
a
"Come, let's shoot
totally
guns."
valid response.
Yeah, yeah.
I am on brink. You shoot that gun at my head
During business time.
during
I'm on the clock.
business hours when I'm on the clock only.
I was very
Thank you.
concerned when he went to teach her how to shoot. And on one hand, it's like, okay, he did actually teach her how to shoot.
Yeah, she
But I
did good.
was very concerned with that trope of like man teaching woman how to golf or shoot an
Play pool.
arrow or something where, or play pool where they stand behind you and have their mouth by your neck in some way. Like, no, no.
No, he
Yeah.
genuinely wanted to show her that guns are better than muscles, which
He was
is
still a little gross, but yes, he
yeah.
did do that. He did actually like follow through with that.
And that's a fascinating other theme that runs through the movie is like what is strength, right? Like where does strength
Yeah.
come from? Because there's like that is one of the most explicit times where he's like, oh, see, a gun is stronger. Like I'll take a gun over a punch any day. And like for a while it seems like she believes him, right? Because she starts using a gun at like,
Yeah.
and then at the end when she gets big, right? It
She's
seems
so
like
big.
She's so big.
it's nice because it's not the steroids that make her strong, right? And it's not a gun that makes her strong. It is the fact that she wants to protect the person she loves and the fact that like she has this inner confidence and belief in herself and belief in their relationship. And that's when she, sorry guy from the movie, gets big.
I hope he knows. I hope he listens to this and knows that it's him.
Seriously,
You
it's
know,
you. It was you.
it
We
was
were at
you,
the Alamo
sir.
Draft House in Wrigleyville. It was you.
The next scene is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, the awkward Chinese dinner scene. It is
Yes.
awkward for so many reasons sitting around the table.
Yeah.
We're with Lil Franco, we're with Jenna Malone, we're with Kristen Stewart and Jackie. Dave Franco has clearly beat the shit out of his wife. He has also
And we're all
fucked
just supposed to
Jackie.
sit there and be normal about all this.
And Dave Franco is being the most Midwest dad about using
Oh my god.
chopsticks.
It's just like
Oh
I
my
can't fucking
god,
understand it.
so bad. Ugh.
I mean, it was the 80s. You can't expect people to understand such exotic
Exotic.
foods as sesame chicken, Garrett.
He didn't want any pineapple. She spills it into his lap. He's
No.
like, "You can't rub my dick into the middle of the restaurant." And after that, he
And
goes
you
to the bathroom.
can.
Kristen Stewart follows him, and that's where he lets her know, like, "I fucked your girlfriend that's at the table. You better not say anything to my wife. Don't question me beating my wife."
Hey, yeah, that's my business that I
She
beat my
wanted
wife.
that job so fucking bad.
Oof.
Ugh, I like cringe so hard. I want to barf when he said that.
But yeah, seriously.
So that's when we get to where Blair had mentioned they're driving back. Kristen Stewart's mad at her. She's got the soda tab can tab in her
Ugh.
mouth, playing with
That made me
that.
nervous. It was hot, but it made me nervous. I thought she was gonna swallow it. I thought she was gonna break her tongue on it. It was very distracting.
I do that too. So I was like, we could be
Garrett!
together.
Oh my
Garrett!
god. John
We
does
could
that
be together.
too.
We could be together because of that.
What is with this ADD bullshit of playing with soda can tabs?
Explain
Um,
that in the exclusive Patreon edition
Yeah, the
to
extended
this
cut.
episode.
Yeah.
So she gets out of the car. The FBI guys that I don't think we've even mentioned have come to talk to Kristen Stewart
And
earlier.
they're like,
in the
"Hey,
movie.
where's your mom? Hey,
They're on the
where's your
side,
mom?
to be honest. Whatever.
Your
Yeah,
dad's
they're-
a piece of shit. Where's your mom?" And she's like, "I don't fucking."
So Jackie gets back in the car. They go to the house. They are in a semi fight, but then Kristen Stewart sneaks up behind her, and I think this is where that man jacked himself to sleep. Is this fingering scene?
I was wondering
What's
when
the
you would call
precise
it.
moment?
Because I think it was when Kristen Stewart says to Jackie, "I want to see how far I can stretch you," and
Yeah.
when she starts fingering her, I thought, this sounds bad. I
Yeah.
thought of you, Blair.
Yeah, because so did I. So did I. So did I. So did I. All I could think about was like, oh no, you have a cigarette in one hand.
Thank
and you're-
you. That was my big note that I was like, I don't even need to write it down. Why would you?
Why?
Wash your hands.
Wash your
before
fucking hands.
You stick those fucking dirty fingers,
I
your
did
dirty fingers in someone's orifice.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
possible that it was a joint instead of a cigarette.
Doesn't matter, would still burn. Don't do it. Everyone wash your
yeah.
hands. Wash your
Yeah.
fucking hands. That took me out of it, but not enough. Obviously, it was fine, and I'm fine. But I was furious.
I love, Garrett, that both you and I were immediately like, no, Blair warned us about this.
Thank you. No one can see this, but I'm cheering and I'm just, accepting the awards right now. Thank you so much.
I'd like to thank the Academy.
I wouldn't like to.
If you don't know what we're talking about, go back and listen to Blair's previous episode with Bound, and also just fucking watch Bound because it's a perfect.
Yeah, watch
thing
Bound.
as
What
a
the
companion
fuck's
to
wrong
this
with
movie.
you?
Like on
Fuck all of you.
iTunes, if you look at this movie, it says most like when it shows you the related searches, Bound is
it
the
Bound?
first movie that comes up. Yeah.
Oh,
They
that's
both
great.
involve lesbians driving off in a truck into the sunset. Only
Yay.
one
Except
of
this
them
one doesn't
has
go
a.
beep beep.
This one doesn't go beep beep, but it
doesn't go
does
beep beep.
have a corpse in the back. So
Yeah. Well,
Trade
she
off.
wasn't for a little bit.
I mean, corpse is a relative term.
The fingering scene, though, I don't know
Yeah.
what Clint Mansell's direction was with the score, but it was fucking whimsical. Like,
Yes, it was a whimsical.
I'm usually not a fan of whimsy, to be honest with you.
Oh,
But like,
Garrett.
this is
Then
my
how
kind
did
of
you
whimsy.
deal with the fact with when she got big, when they were both big and like, riding through the clouds, running and jumping? That's whimsical.
That really happened. That wasn't whimsy.
Oh,
It's literal. It's actually not a
got
metaphor. She
big.
got
big. She got big.
There are Kit's right though. There are moments of whimsy throughout this movie that we haven't mentioned, other than spoiler alert at the end. She gets big, and like when we say big, we mean fucking big, like King Kong
You don't
big.
even know, dude. You don't even know.
But yeah, there are times when like her muscles start to bulge either,
And that's
from
where more of the
steroids or from-
noises, the more the Foley comes up of that, the
Yes.
muscle squinching and squelching is, it's very interesting.
Well, earlier in the movie too, during the moment where you're going between sex scenes and like working at the gym and working out, one of those montages, you see them watching a very old Gulliver's Travels cartoon.
Yes, I noticed that.
Oh,
And
they
like,
had absolutely foreshadowed, like,
Mhm.
someone's gonna get big.
Every moment of this movie, every little tidbit of this movie is well thought out, very meticulous, similar to the way that they appreciate each other's bodies, to be honest. I feel like it's a theme throughout the movie, big and small. When she
Hey.
gets big, every moment is thought out. But that scene was hot.
So after our whimsical fingering, we go to the hospital because we find out that her sister has been beaten to an absolute fucking pulp.
Oh my
She's
god.
so
Along
mad
with the
there.
Foley, the makeup on this
Oh, it's
is
brutal.
absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
Oof.
That was
And-
gnarly.
It's really well done, and it hurts to look at.
Mhm.
And we know who did it. Like, you know it was her husband. We've seen it like 3 other times throughout this movie.
Yeah.
And at this point, Jackie has taken so much steroids. Like, we kind of left that out of the montage. There's a lot of shots of needles and asses in this movie, and she is taking certainly more than the allotted amount.
Also,
that
the
I-
way I just gotta say, where they inject sometimes, I'm like, there's no way anyone would inject there, and that just was weird. But
I mean, the ass
digress,
is
I
the
digress.
classic.
it wasn't even the ass cheek; it was like right near the top of the crack, like near the bone. And like, why didn't you just inject it
Tramp
to the
stamp
fathom?
area.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
you want
really
it in the
weird. Why would you
meat.
do that?
You want it in the nice, meaty, fleshy bit.
Yeah, but I'm willing to let it go anyway. Toss it aside.
But as we're sitting in the hospital, this is one of the first moments where Jackie truly has like a roid rage moment where
Yeah.
you see like her hands tightening on the chair. You see the muscles starting to like magically convulse, like she's Popeyeing up.
Whimsically convulsing.
Mhm.
Yeah, like this is the muscle version of Amelie, folks. This is the
Yes. Oh my god, that is it. I was trying to figure out the connection. That's
Oh,
it. You're
that's
right.
Beautiful.
Brilliant, Garrett.
So she goes to Lil Franco's house And this is where the movie takes such a turn where I think we knew that it was going to get dark, but I don't know that we knew the extent of the gore we were going to be sitting through in this movie.
Yeah.
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 And that's what's next. And that's what's next.
gnarly.
Immediately next.
She just crashes his face into that coffee table.
His
And-
jaw over and over again. It's like getting curb stomped.
Yeah, you think that American History X was bad? It not compared to the way they show this graphically, and the noises and the squelching noises when they flip them over, when they move them around, like it. This was gnarly, and I couldn't stop cackling. And Bud looked at me with such a confused kind of terror look. But when I see gore to that degree, especially to like a dude who deserves it, it makes me so elated. That brings whimsy to my heart.
I was
that's
whimsically
beautiful.
fingering myself during that moment.
But you didn't fall asleep, and you didn't make it anyone else's problem.
Yeah,
No, I was in the
fine then.
I was in the back. I was in the back writing my notes above all these lesbians. It's fine.
I have died. I have died.
Good. I'm so glad.
Oh boy.
Oh. Like that man that fell asleep, I need a Marlboro Red or 6.
Yeah, it's for real though. And you know those were stale. You know they've been sitting in his butt pocket for days. So gross. It was all crumpled. So gnarly. That's a big turning point, I feel
Yeah,
like.
and that's when K-Stu has to go into like different headspace. She goes into problem solving
kind
mode.
of,
Her
like-
training kicks in.
Yeah.
And she's like, we gotta roll him up in a carpet, and we gotta. And I'm like,
Also, the carpet, I was like, this is Looney Tunes. So we're Looney Tunesing it. They're rolling her up on a carpet.
hey man,
Yeah. Or
you
rug.
gotta get rid of
Excuse me,
her,
a
and
rug.
you gotta get rid of him, and you gotta get rid of the rug. Like, you just got to.
The best moment though, when they're disposing of the body and they get him in the trunk. Kristen Stewart's been doing so good for a few scenes of not smoking, and she just looks and there's a pack of cigarettes hanging out of
Yes.
Dave Franco's pocket, and she's just like, no,
Mm.
and closes the trunk.
Nope. Nope.
Girl,
was a
you
favorite
earned
moment.
one.
You know
Yeah.
her thought was more about I can't leave DNA evidence
Yeah.
than it was
Because she
can't
knows
have
all the
cigarette.
details of how this shit works. But like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
would have done it. I would have fucking done it 100%.
So we're driving to dump his body. We're in James Franco's. I keep saying James Franco. Will Franco's
You know
Camaro.
what? Whatever.
Will Franco.
Whatever.
A Franco.
A Franco.
We're in a Franco's Camaro. Kristen Stewart is. Jackie's following her in the truck, and we fucking run into the only other goddamn lesbian in this town at a
Daisy.
stoplight.
Gym woman.
And she's like, hey, is that Jackie driving your Camaro or like driving your truck?
No.
And where's this car? Whose car are you in?
You want to go get ice cream tomorrow? She's not driving my car. The light's green. We gotta go, Daisy. I'll see you tomorrow at the ice cream store, though.
We're going to go on a date and everything's going to be fine. Anything to get you away from me immediately right now and your gross teeth.
So we go
Right.
dump the body in this crater that we see in the very opening shot of the movie. Kristen Stewart throwing a Molotov cocktail. 10 out of 10. Yes, would ruin my life.
Yes,
This movie
yes,
aroused
yes,
me.
yes,
Hot
yes,
as
yes,
fuck.
yes.
Loved it.
So good.
Like-
That was such a moment. That was such a fucking moment.
If you guys want to get matching Molotov cocktail
Yes,
tattoos that
yes.
say Crater's Gym on
Garrett,
them,
I
Yes.
swear to
Garrett.
God, stop trying to get me to get a matching tattoo with you.
I'm already saying yes right now. Already saying yes right now. I've been trying to visit you and I've been trying to visit Ashley. It's so hard to get out of California. It's so expensive. But when I do, yes.
Matching Molotov
Yes.
cocktail Crater's
Yes.
Gym tattoos.
No
Okay.
hesitation.
don't say yes to that tattoo yet, because I have one other tattoo idea that comes a little later in this episode.
Fine. I'll do both though, but okay. I'll wait.
I think the next one you're going to be like, oh, absolutely. Fuck yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the best. But they put the car in, Molotov cocktail. Kristen Stewart has to go back to the house. She locks Jackie in her apartment, literally locks her in the apartment.
Yeah,
I
big
mean, she is
mistake considering
still
her brain.
roiding, and I get that you could not leave. Like, you can't bring her with you, and you can't leave her to her own devices. She's like hallucinating and roid raging out. Like,
Yeah.
it's a tough
It's
spot.
it's more like she's on mushrooms though than
Yeah.
steroids. It's bizarre.
Honestly, like I did relate as I've done a few different psychedelics, and I haven't had like a bad trip, but the way they had her perform and the way they edited everything to do with like her hallucinations and like that experience, I feel like I've like experienced that type of feeling before, but it wouldn't be steroids. Like there's no way that that's what steroids are like. But like, oh, this is very accurate to like freaking out on a hallucinogen, but like why is it steroids? But whatever, I'm not going to question it because it works
Have
for the
we
film.
considered that, whoever's selling those steroids just happened to put a little LSD in?
Honestly, I kept kind of waiting for that kind of turn because I've spent a lot of my life watching strongmen that take steroids.
You don't know that they're not hallucinating, Garrett.
You murder a fast food worker, you kill your
Yep.
friend, you kill your family. I've never heard of
Yeah.
like this level of like there is roid rage and that seemed real. I don't know. This was weird
Can't
to me.
imagine that's what Chris Benoit was saying. I don't think that's what he was
Yeah.
experiencing.
I'll say it didn't take me out of the movie. I
No,
wasn't
not
really
at all.
thinking
Not at
about it that
all. I literally just
carefully.
did acid in the forest though, and like the kind of like tracking trails where it's like chick 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 like that is like very accurate to a
Mm.
hallucinogen. So I'm like, I'll take it. Go for it. Do your thing, Jackie.
I mean, don't do your thing. Oh my god, stop killing people.
Oh yeah, also don't do that though. But
So
that's fine.
Kristen Stewart's back in her sister's house, cleaning up the blood, cleaning up the mess. And as she's basically finished up doing this, Ed Harris shows back up. She hides in a closet. Ed Harris is walking around. He sees that this bird that we've seen several times throughout the movie hasn't been fed, does a really unhinged thing and dumps the empty seeds down the sink. What
I
the
know.
fuck?
What the fuck? There's a trash can.
They
But the
have a garbage
thing,
disposal. It's fine.
But I like that he fed it. I'm very happy that he took care of the bird. Thank you so
See,
much, Ed Harris.
he's
Thank you.
totally a nice guy.
but the thing that made him realize that his daughter did this was the thing that like was the cleaning. Like he runs
Yeah.
his finger across the counter and he's
He's
like,
like,
"This place is always fucking
hmm.
filthy. This place is clean as hell."
Ain't
He
no
did.
way.
Yeah,
Ain't no
he
way Lil
did.
Franco did this.
Also, I think he knew she was in the closet because, like, duh. Of course she's in the fucking closet. But he decided to let
Ew.
it go in that moment. Like, just the way he kept looking back on it and, like, the way he kept kind of squinting his eyes and thought, like, I think he is aware she's there and he's like, I'm not going to deal with this yet.
I think he was giving it a chance to play out because he didn't know yet that she had dumped the body in his body
In
dumping
his body
hole.
dumping hole.
So I think some part of him was like, let's see how good she is. Let's see if all that training pays off that I gave to her.
Yeah, maybe he was kind of like, oh, is she going to come into her own as, like, part of the family? I don't know. I don't know. A lot going on in that mullet. I don't know.
We can all be Ed Harris sometimes.
Yeah, and I will.
All during this time that Kristen Stewart is dealing with this shit, Jackie's high as fuck, breaks out of the apartment and goes and lifts weights. Because Jackie is unfucking hinged. She is a
Yep.
nightmare person in this moment.
Yes.
She wants to go to Vegas, and Kristen Stewart gets back. Jackie eventually shows up, and Jackie is acting like I act after a bowl of Count Chocula. Like manic, unbearable, moving like a Tasmanian devil, wants to go to Las Vegas.
Overly confident too? Really?
Count Chocula has that effect on people.
The spunk has worn off in this moment where you're just like, God damn it, Jackie.
Chill the fuck out. Stop.
It's also been a while since I boned, so a little bit of that haze is lifted. She's kind of like, oh, I'm seeing everything for how it really is, and I need to decide like how to react to this moment.
While she's yelling at Jackie, Jackie headbutts her in the face and it's like, I'm going to Vegas. And you see, like, you're driving, you see this woman walking down the side of the street. You're like, I am absolutely picking her up.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what
Yeah.
life is like once that woman's in your car?
Well, luckily she passes out because
Yeah, it
she's
looks
like so out of
like,
it.
adrenaline wore off and she,
Can we take a moment to commend those men for not being gross?
I swear to God, Blair, we have already talked about how your standards are too goddamn low.
But that's nice.
Oh,
But
it's so
that's
nice of
nice. They
you.
dropped her
You
off just where she
didn't
wanted to
rape
go, and they didn't do anything
her.
bad.
You
They just
didn't
gave
rape
her a ride.
her. How
They gave her
sweet.
a ride.
You're
That's
so
nice.
nice. You know what? Yes, the fact that they gave her a ride and dropped her off at the exact location she wanted to be at
Like to the
is nice.
door.
I'm not going to say it's nice that they did not molest her, Blair. That's
But it
not
is nice they
nice.
didn't molest
Stop
her.
it. That's not nice. That's
Nice.
basic decency. You don't get
Considering all the
ride.
other men in this movie, I
You
think
know
that
what?
by the standards of this movie, that's pretty good.
They may actually be that fucking hippie in that van may in fact be the best man in this movie.
The whole movie.
Kit, there's no such thing as a free ride, but they did give her one.
But they did give her one. They did.
It's like ass grass or
Gas.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
Yeah.
Jackie was
ass
on the
grass
fucking
cat.
gas, so maybe that counts.
Yes.
Like that is
Maybe that counts. They're like, you're already good. You already paid your nickel somehow. Just
Somehow.
get in here, I guess.
we get to a point. Jackie shows up at the strong lady beauty pageant, and this unlocked a new life goal for me. I
Oh.
don't think there could be a better judge for this strong woman competition
Stop
than
it.
me and
God
John
damn it.
Waters.
No.
Yes. You're right. No notes. You're right.
And hear me out, because Jackie still would have won by the end of this competition.
Even though she
Jackie's
vomited all over the stage, she still would have won in your eyes.
Yes.
That's what me and John Waters give points for, Kit.
Oh shit, you're right. I forgot John Waters is there.
Originality.
I love fucking puking in movies. I love when there's a nervous puke. I love a scared puke. I love a
Wow,
disgusted
you should
puke.
watch Pinocchio 964. It's all puke porn the whole time.
Well,
I don't need that in my life.
I don't need it sexually. I don't like. I
No,
don't
it's
need
not,
some.
it's not even really sexually. It's like an ode to puke.
You like this is a thing that if any of our listeners heard of this movie that you just said, is this a movie? Is this a
It is a
video you
movie.
made? What is this?
No, it is a real movie. It is a burden. I still have it. It's like having the fucking Ring video. It's beautiful. It's beautifully made. It's by the same folks that made like Tetsuo the Iron Man and it's beautiful
Okay.
film, but there's just so much puke. And they even make like puke snow angels. There's a lot going on with puke.
Was this movie made in the same dorm room where Garrett made that film of you being
Dominated. Yeah.
dominated in your underpants?
Interesting. Perhaps there is a sense of power play in this movie. So I'm going to say yes. Garrett, I'll send you more information about this after. We'll talk about this later. I don't want to wait. We're already going over time. I won't waste your time with this.
We'll see how far listeners get into this one, but we're actually going to go over the time that the movie is by the end of this.
I don't have a problem with that.
I don't either. I'm having fun. So as the muscle lady beauty pageant goes on, Jackie falls into one of her hallucinations. She sees Kristen Stewart tell her, like, you got this, babe, do it. And then as she is posing, pictures Lil Franco's jaw falling off his face.
Yeah. Like, ka-chunk.
And starts to have definitely not a hallucination, but a very real life barf where her jaw unhinges and she barfs Kristen Stewart's whole body out of her mouth.
It's a metaphor.
Yes. It's very anime. Very anime. She got I'm glad they had a little vor in there for like, Gen Z.
There we go.
Talking to all generations here.
That's so sweet.
I see our analytics. I knew who our generations are, and it ain't them.
Will be now.
It is
now that they got the vor in.
30 to 40-year-old females and they thems is our.
I love that. That's some of my
too.
favorite people.
But don't
They
worry,
should
boys.
see this
We're here
movie.
for you too.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to be in the club.
So yeah, she starts to, I think, hallucinate. I don't think everyone's actually laughing at her backstage, right? Like, but she sees everyone laughing at her.
I mean, they are after the barf, but maybe
their
not
heads
before.
are looking really weird.
But once
Either
we
way,
cut
she
to like
punches the shit out of somebody.
yeah, we cut to the stage of barf, and like you do hear the audience real life laughing.
Yeah.
But I
you're
think
right.
off stage they were just like originally they were just kind of looking like what the hell's going on, and then maybe after that maybe they're laughing. But I think that when you see them start to morph, you can see them a little bit normal sometimes, and they're not laughing. They're just like what? Huh? So that
If
is
somebody who just barfs
unhinged.
beats the fuck out of me, I am going to be more impressed. When I'm like throwing up, I'm like also shitting my pants, crying a little bit. Like
all fluids out.
All fluids all the time. Garrett, you need to hydrate after that.
Yeah, come on. Can I also
No.
just ask, at any point in this movie, does anyone drink water?
No, but
Don't
they are
think so.
sweating so much that
So
they
much.
really should.
Zero water. Not even in the gym. No water at all.
you're right. No one like other than the bar where she serves a drink, but I don't see sips taken.
Mm-mm. There's
Wasn't
no
in
water.
the budget.
It's because
There's no water in the
no,
budget.
it's a metaphor,
Water
guys.
is a metaphor.
It's a metaphor that they're all thirsty.
We're in the desert. There
Desert
is
lesbians.
God damn it.
I love desert lesbians. Like
Me
by
too.
I didn't know it was a genre I needed.
Can I tell you the craziest shit? So at this point in the movie, I was not able to use my notebook. It was too dark for me to be able to see. So I'm sitting in the back, no one can see me, so I'm making notes in the note app on my phone. And I get a text because I have been waiting to find out the results of whether or not I have cancer.
Oh
And
my
I
God,
found
that's right. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
and it popped up that I didn't have cancer during this movie. Praise be to Kristen Stewart.
Yay.
And it made me
Thank
love
you.
the desert lesbians more.
And now if you meet one, you can tell them that. You can tell them why.
Fun fact, desert lesbians cure cancer.
Yeah.
There is no
Well.
God, only desert lesbians.
That's what Mad Max is really trying to say. Just
Oh,
like the men
shit.
wouldn't let them go into that storyline. That's
Oh,
all.
I didn't see that, but you're right.
Yeah, right? Crazy. It's crazy.
So Jackie gets arrested for beating up the other bodybuilding women. She tries to call Kristen Stewart, but gets Daisy. Daisy, who is at her house, just causing fucking problems. Kristen Stewart knows.
Question. Have
Yes.
either of you ever been in a situation where you have had to have sex with someone in order to keep them from blackmailing you?
No.
I immediately wasn't quite sure, so I want to say maybe.
I wish you guys could have seen Blair's face as she looks at the sky, looks at the middle distance to try and
Really
remember that one
thinking.
time. Was the
There's a
sidewalk
lot
at
of
the
my
punk
life I
show?
don't remember. No, the sidewalk the punch show was romantic because we've been dating for like 6 months, and that's a long time when you're 14.
Do you remember the
We played
band?
music together. Yes, Lower Class Brats was the headliner. I still have
Wait,
a
was that
shirt
this-
from that show. There's a lot of my life I can't remember, and I just wouldn't be surprised if that happened to me. You know, I bartended in a college town in like this weird haunted punky bar. Like anything could have happened during that time. You know.
Kit,
No, I've
tell your tale.
Absolutely, like very much no.
I have
Right off the bat.
definitely not had to have sex in order to avoid blackmail, but I've definitely pretended to like people more than I do to avoid them doing some bad shit, right? Like,
I
you've
think
been
that's
in
more
that
likely for me too. I
situation,
think
right?
that is more what direction
you're
that I
like-
would have gone.
You're like playing along to keep from things turning south.
Yeah, it's called fawning. It's called fawning, and it's real, and that's like a fight or flight is more than just fight or flight. It's like fight, flight, fawn,
freeze.
freeze.
I didn't know. So that's what
Yeah, it was
happened
just
when I was
fawning.
on that date with the puppet master. Now it all
Well, I
makes
want to hear about
sense.
that later after we're done recording. I'd love to
I'll
hear about
hold it.
that.
I'll hold it.
That'll come up on a different show. Like, there's no way it won't.
Yeah, please. I don't think I've done anything worthy of being blackmailed, like anything. I've never done anything malicious,
Yeah.
like, I
I've
think
got
it's more
blackmailed into a
that.
dozen hand jobs at least.
That sounds great.
I also wanna hear about that later.
No.
Yeah. Save that for later. Okay, so yeah, she gets put in the awkward position of needing to pretend that she wants to go back to fucking Daisy so that Daisy won't tell the cops, like, by the way, I saw you driving your brother-in-law's car the night he disappeared, and also your girlfriend was there driving your car, and
Yeah,
it all
behind you,
looked
literally behind you.
in the middle of the goddamn night.
Why not
Yeah.
on a side street? Why not in the desert? You literally are in the desert, like, why? You're dumb.
So when Daisy comes over, this is where another tattoo comes in, Blair.
Oh, boy.
No.
She
Oh, boy, oh,
gives
boy, oh, boy.
Kristen Stewart a card and says, "I got you
Oh!
something." And
Yes,
she has
yes.
handwritten a card, like
Mhm.
like almost like a get well soon card, but like a
Yes.
sorry your brother-in-law got jawed card. And
Uh-huh.
it is
Uh-huh.
a sunflower that looks like it's crying. It is smoking a cigarette and
Uh-huh.
maybe has a black eye. It's not on
Most def.
screen hard enough to tell. That
It
Absolutely
looks
had
is,
a
like
it
black
is.
eye.
It is a black
Daisy's
eye, there's
picture
no
is our
way.
tattoo.
Ugh,
She answers
ugh.
the phone and is like, "Shut up, don't call here ever again, case two's over you." And so Jackie instead calls Ed Harris because I
And
guess that's the
Harris.
only other phone number she has outside of Oklahoma.
We don't even see the
Yeah.
phone call though. She almost seems surprised when he shows up. Because we don't know if because he's in with the cops, so we don't know if like your girl got caught in
Possible. I
Vegas for
assumed that
this.
she had only one other phone number and it was her work
No, I think she did.
number.
I think you're right because, like, it's a little hazy. I need to watch it for a second time, but I think, like, when she dials and she has the phone to her ear, she does this, like, head hang moment where, like, she does not want to be making this call. It's just kind of a symbol of, like, ugh, I don't want to be doing this, but I have to kind of thing.
Okay.
So I think it was on purpose in that way, but I could be wrong. You've seen it twice. I've seen it once. I
No,
don't know.
you could be right there. So after that scene, we see uh Daisy and what is Kristen Stewart's character's actual name?
Lou.
Lou or Lulu.
Louise.
Yeah.
Lou.
It's
So
Lou. Her dad is Lou Sr. He named
yeah,
his daughter Lou,
I
but
hate that. I
Louise.
hate that people do that. I
It's
don't
like
like
George
it.
Foreman naming his kids like
All of them, all
all of
5 sons,
all
right?
of them and
French
daughters.
and
His daughters are like Georgia or Georgina or
Oh,
something.
Jesus. No. No.
so they're at this is such an awkward lunch, and I love where Daisy, like, she has to convince Daisy, like, you can't say anything because you know that'd be bad for me, right? And she's like, yes. And she's like, can we order margaritas? And
Yeah.
they order margs. They head back to Kristen Stewart's place, and this is where we get the second puke. They're
Yes, yes.
Oh boy.
Jackie barfs on the ground,
You
stands
mean
up,
Daisy?
or Daisy, I'm sorry. Daisy barfs on
Yeah,
the ground.
it's
Boom!
how many
Yeah,
margaritas
boy.
did that girl have that she barfed?
And they also it could have been one, and they probably, they're making it with that nasty, like, sugary mix. It's not a
Yeah,
real
Good
margarita. Like,
call.
ugh,
it could have been
God.
food poisoning, Kit. God
Oh, that's
damn,
a
give
really
this
good
poor
point.
girl some
Give
credit.
Daisy some
I'm
credit.
so sorry for not giving enough credit to Daisy. But yeah, it took me by absolute surprise that
Yeah,
girl
that
shot.
boom, that fucking boom moment. My God.
Oh my god. And then yeah, so
Ooh.
it turns out Jackie's been given a gun by dad and
My
told to like
riffraff, Papa Riffraff.
Papa
Riff,
Riffraff, Daddy Mullet.
Daddy Skullet said
Oh yeah, Daddy Skullet. Excuse me.
take this gun and go kill Daisy because she knows too much.
She's a witness. She's the only witness,
And
and she
then
sucks.
Jackie fucking pulls the gun on Lou and is like, "Oh, she pulls the trigger. She pulled the
Yeah.
goddamn trigger.
That
She
was
was
not good.
lucky it was empty, and then it just clicked because she's
Case
like,
Stu's such a good actress.
yeah,
I don't like saying that. Case Stu is such a great actor. Everyone is an actor, and like I mean, she is like very clearly reacting, but her subtleness in that like mixture of fear, but also betrayal, like, how could
That
you cross
heartbreak.
this line? Yeah, the heartbreak of, like, how could you cross this line with me? Like, I love you, I'm doing all of this for you, literally right now. It just, you see, like, 12 emotions go through her head in less than a
Yeah.
second. It's just incredible. It's incredible.
All the acting in this movie is top
Yeah,
notch.
everyone. Even
Uh,
Daisy.
fucking Daisy.
I will say, just to tie it back to Bound, as we see Kristen Stewart have to clean up her
Mm.
apartment,
A
she does.
second cleanup. This poor girl. I felt so bad for her. Like, she just, and I mean just, finished cleaning up after Jackie's last homicide. What the
Well,
hell?
and as she's cleaning up, obviously, like right as she's finishing, the FBI shows up,
Yes,
and
and that is so similar to Bound. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
except, do you remember when we did the Bound episode, we all complimented Joe Pantoliano's ability to rearrange a room quickly?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
She
truly.
was. I don't know what you want to say about him and his ability with feng shui and just
Ah.
decorating.
There's no time to get into
J-
that when he's dealing with it.
Let's just say Lou had the vibe of a lady who jerks off and eats lean cuisines,
Yep,
and
yep,
that
yep.
was
Yeah,
her
yeah.
apartment style. She did not do a great job.
But no,
No.
no, but if she had done good feng shui, would that have been more of an
It would have been
indicator, like,
obvious.
"Something's off. Something's off here.
Mhm,
You clearly
mhm.
are a lesbian that eats lean cuisine and never opens the
And
windows."
her carpet didn't
And, like, why is your living room the
her
best feng shui
carpet
I've ever
didn't
seen?
squelch when the cops walked in, and I feel
Mm.
like that's several
That's true.
points in her
Yeah,
favor.
Bound really got that. But the cat licking up the blood and the,
Oh my god, the cat.
"Get out of here. Get out of here, Oliver," whatever your name is. "Get the
Happy
fuck out of
Once,
here."
Meal. The
yeah,
cat's name was Happy Meal.
Wait, really?
It was
How did I
on the
miss that?
bowl.
Oh.
So she manages to get them out of there.
yeah. From here, basically where we're at is she has a phone call with her dad. She threatens her dad with the FBI that, like, because her dad's like, I got everything cleaned up for you. And she says, unless I go to the FBI and say all the fucking bodies and you did all that shit down there.
Mhm.
And there's a moment where he goes, are you threatening me? And there's
"Are
the
you threatening me?"
longest pause.
Longest pause.
And she
Yeah,
just
ugh.
goes, yep. And it's just
Yep.
such, that was,
I
Yep.
busted
Yes.
up. It was so good. It
That was
was
the
so
best acting
perfect.
ever. Like, it's caught in your
Yep.
throat, like, your all of your core muscles are tight. You're just like, "Am I saying this? Am I
Am
really
I
saying
saying this?
this?"
There's no way I'm saying this. Am I really? And then it's out before you can even. You cannot take it back. It's too
Yeah, she's like, "Ah,
and
far.
it was so Kristen Stewart. One of the best moments in this movie happens after she says, yep. And that moment
yep."
is we get to watch a man in a fit of rage eat a bug.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I mean, I'm glad it happened, but I also was
It
sad.
was
It's gross.
He's,
horrifying.
I
But
mean,
like
it's the mummy
from a
beetle. He smashes a
It is a
fucking,
mummy beetle. A scarab.
like as far as like character choices go, it's fucking brilliant. It like every part of how they put his character together, how he plays it is so good. And Jesus Christ, the fact that they have him rage bite a bug.
Ed Harris, just everything he
Whew.
does. He didn't even need to do that for me to just be 100% gung ho for his character. But like, as soon as he did that, I'm like, yep,
Yep.
you're
Yep.
dedicated to all this, and I love you
Bless you.
and everything you do. Bless
if
you
we
so
told the
much.
listeners at this point that he ate the scarab and Billy Zane came out his asshole, we'd be like, and he got big, they'd believe
Oh
it.
my god! Oh my god! But also somehow Bubba Hotep comes out. You have awoken the mummy. It's just so
No.
good.
Oh my
That's
god.
part two. That's part two.
So yeah, he sends a cop to kill her, and that's when she first, I believe, has to actually like she has to do the killing herself.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
I love it.
and
I love it.
she
Yeah.
Like,
the way she plays it is so good. She's like freaked out at like what she is having to do right now. Like, my dad sent you to kill me?
Because also that's not her first kill, unfortunately.
No, it is in many years. You get the
Yeah.
feeling that she'd been out of the game for a while, but they do have flashbacks to her
Mhm.
dad having her shoot someone else. We don't even know who.
Beautiful flashbacks, by the way.
Yeah.
Like the way the movie's
Beautiful.
shot, the movie's gorgeous. I don't think
It's
we
really
talked about
artistically done.
cinematography, but
There's just no time to
I
go into it all.
I
I
know, right?
love in a movie when somebody doesn't look cool. Like obviously Kristen Stewart looks cool with a gun, but
Yeah.
It's true.
she's not cool in that moment. And like a movie that comes to mind, I don't know if you ever saw the Kevin Bacon movie Death Sentence
No.
that was based off a book from the Death Wish series, like the old
Hmm.
Death Wish movies. And there's just
Yeah.
so many scenes in that, like his whole family dies and it's really sad. It's honestly the opening of Death Sentence is like the opening 15 minutes of Up, except
Oh
way
No!
sadder.
no.
Oh
Oh
no!
no. I'm gonna
Oh
cry just thinking
no!
about that. Don't do
Oh
this.
god!
And
Don't
at
do
the
this to
end of
me.
the movie, he shaves his head and he misses spots, so it's patchy and he looks insane. And when he slides into a room with a shotgun to kill these guys, like he just looks goofy with it because he is just a normal dude.
Yeah,
And
you're not like holding it sideways, Glock.
and I guess like until you reminded me that she has killed in the past, like Kristen Stewart gave like like almost inexperienced, like the gun's just over the top firing wildly of the couch as she hides.
Yeah.
Yes, she does not. I
He's
mean,
like,
she's never been in a firefight. She's never been in a situation where it was her life or someone else's. Because the guy that she shot before is shown like he's tied up. He's like blindfolded, isn't he?
he's at
Like
the edge of the crater,
he's
and I
at
At the
the
think her
edge of the
crater.
dad,
crater
it was
already.
like an not even initiation, but like her dad was teaching her how to take this step. It
Yeah.
seemed like it was like obviously she's his protege, and he was like, "Well, this is your moment now." And then I think after that, it is implied that that's when she separated from him. Like, I'm not doing
I'm
this.
not doing this anymore. And yeah, so this is like the first time it's been like she can't justify it as saying it was someone else's idea.
Yeah.
She can't like and she was in an actual like life or death situation.
Also, like, honestly, as much as you hate your fucking dad, you have to thank him for being able to use all of these lessons that you've
Skills.
learned and all these
Yeah.
skills you've gained from him in order to survive at least up to this point, because you don't know if you're going to live or die in this moment, but like you're only able to get through this and help Jackie because of your dad. So like it's very complicated for her. That sucks.
From this moment, we we go to her dad's house. We're gonna go save Jackie, who is tied up at her dad's. Like honestly, his house way nicer than any
Yeah,
of us
the
expected.
fanciest mansion in the
Oh
entire
my
fucking world.
god. It is so nice. It has a tennis court.
Not the world, but the fanciest desert
The desert
mansion.
world. The
In this
desert world.
in this shitty town that has only one gym and it looks like the one Kristen Stewart's working at, like this place is way too nice. He will never be able to sell this to anyone. There's no resale value
I'm glad you're
whatsoever.
thinking about it that way. Like Zillow, it would just sit on
This
Zillow
is
forever.
forever, and it would eventually be sold for way, way less than he put into it
No,
because
no, no. It would be abandoned, and then some urbex explorer on TikTok would go to it with like
yes,
that same background music they use on all the videos. Like, oh, what could have happened? What could have happened here in this abandoned mansion?
I'm gonna approach Ed Harris, say, I have an offer you can't refuse.
yeah.
It is 6 Beatles and a case of Nestle water.
Whoa, damn, damn. You're even gonna lowball him with the Nestle water too. Shit.
You're still
Gold
gonna
in the
lose
desert.
so much money on this for the maintenance on that damn place and the
Yeah, boy.
taxes. Ain't no
I
way
dare
you're
you to
making it
throw
out
in
of
a
this.
one Topo Chico. Like, I dare you to.
uh, so one of my favorite scenes in this movie, we get inside of his mansion, and the first person she sees is Jenna Malone. So we see her sister Beth, and her sister's like, "You fucking killed him." She's like, "I don't know what he told you." And then she pauses and she goes, "I love you." And
Yeah.
then she starts to talk shit and talking about killing Jackie. And in that moment, and she speaks to
Yeah.
Mhm.
Beth in Beth's love language, which is just fucking hurting her.
Yeah, well, that's so sisterly too. I mean, I'm an only child, so I can only say so much. But it seems like that's such a sisterly thing too, like pushing your physical boundaries of pain with each other. It seems like
Oh, but
that's a thing
squeezing
with
the fucked up
siblings, you
face.
know?
No,
Yeah, and you
don't do
hear the noise.
that.
Another Foley
Oh,
moment where you hear that like,
nasty.
it's so nasty.
And
But
like,
also, like, I love that she's not sorry. I love that she's not, even though she's not the one that actually killed Will Franco. I love that she finally admits, like, I'm not that sorry. I'm not that sorry about it.
if honestly, if it could have been me, I was definitely thinking about it. Like, it's not that I didn't want to kill him. It's that Jackie was the one who actually came in and smashed his head into a fucking coffee table.
Strong toffee table. That table didn't break at
I
all.
know.
They
That's
built
good
it better
shit.
in the 80s.
Oh,
That's
so
true.
true.
No IKEA yet. It's
No,
true.
yeah, that, like if this were in an LA apartment, everything would have crumpled with one touch. It was just-
Including the house. Like, it all would have caved in on itself. And asbestos would be clouding the air.
So true.
So, okay, so she does find her. They get in an argument. Find Jackie. I mean, gets her untied. Jackie. They get in a little bit of a fight. She jumps on her back like hold on tight little spider monkey from
Yes.
Twilight.
Yes.
Then like she goes to get the truck. Kristen Stewart's gonna go fight her dad. They get in a scuffle. There's a gun. And then what happens, Kit? What happens, Kit?
She gets big.
Yay! She
Yeah.
gets big.
She gets big.
She gets big.
They have the moment between the two of them on the tennis court where she's like, I fucking love you, you idiot, or whatever it is she
Yeah.
says. She has like a great like sweet moment where it's like, listen, whatever you think I did, like we are clearly made for each other, and you just gotta let this go.
They both be killing people. We
We
didn't get a
both be
comment on
killing
this because there's so much
people. We
going
both
on, but Jackie does call home, and becomes very clear
Oh, yeah.
that clearly she
yeah.
has a problem with killing through her rage, and her mom's like, "Don't ever call here again, even to talk to your little brother." Like, there's clearly some history of this, just like there clearly is history of this with Kristen Stewart. So
Jackie's
they are
troubled.
perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Jackie
There's a
be
lot.
troubled.
And that's why they both are so quick to distrust each other, and that's why they're not opening up fully. And so they have this very nice moment where they're like realizing that they really do love each other and they want to be that person for each other and open up. And then she gets big.
So we've said that a lot. What does that mean, Kit? Like, because she get
I
she
mean,
get like don't get
spiritually, metaphorically.
literally what
No.
happens on screen.
Literally, she is like 30 feet tall.
Yeah, like Apache Chief. Like
Yeah,
Apache Chief,
yeah.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah,
She get big.
She get big.
big.
She
Her
do
muscles
big.
her muscles hulk out, and she's suddenly gigantic. And she goes and she like just grabs Ed Harris like
Riff
he's a
raff.
Yeah.
she grabs Skullet Daddy like he's she grabs Skullet Daddy like he's a paper doll.
And
I want
love
someone
it.
to make a fan edit of her getting big and being big in that whole sequence with like there's a song in Steven Universe about giant woman. And I would like someone to do a nice little mashup of that. So if any listeners do that, please send it to my email directly.
I mean, it's especially because like Ed Harris has just shot Kristen Stewart, and he's like digging his finger into the
In her
bullet
wound.
hole
Yeah.
Oh, it's
to
so
like
bad.
Great
make
Foley.
her scream while telling her horrible things because she's like, "You killed mom," and he's like, "No, she left because of you and me because we're both bad people.
We're both desert trash.
We're both
Both
desert trash." And I have to know, do you think that Ed Harris killed the mom or not? Do you think he was
Ooh.
lying just to make Kristen Stewart feel bad? Or do you think that that is the truth, that she like went into hiding to get away from the business?
I've been struggling with this question because I figured it would come up and I'm still not sure. That's the only thing that like hasn't been alluded to enough for me to be sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I don't have a definite answer, and honestly, at that point, like, as
Does
I
it
was
matter?
thinking about it, she got big, and,
I was a bit distracted.
I mean, if he didn't kill the mom, it is because she went into hiding well enough and he wanted to kill her, right? Like there's
Yeah.
no way he wasn't gonna. He was
Either
willing to
way, he was gonna,
he
yeah.
was he sent a fucking assassin after his own daughter. There's no way he wouldn't for his wife as well.
There
Like,
is a part of me that wants to lean towards that, like, yes, he did. But the way, I don't know, the tone in his voice when he talks about it isn't the same as when he talks about other things where he knows he has power over her and he's being malicious and gets that like snarly look on his face. So, like,
yeah.
maybe that is the one thing that they're both kind of like hurt by.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. But also, like, can you trust a man with a skullet to that degree? I don't know. I
it
don't
sounds like
know.
Blair could. She'd be like, "Well,
No!
he did humanely eat the bug, so I
He
thought
did
maybe
eat the
he was
No.
a
bug meat. Well, he did feed that bird, so Blair has
Yeah,
already given him partial
Buddy
He
credit.
did
poured
feed the bird, though. He did feed the bird,
He
though.
fed
but he
the
poured the
bird.
seeds down the drain. What the fuck?
Why would you do that? There's a trash can next to the
That's
sink.
gonna fuck up
Stop
the
it.
drain. So, like, if somebody's pouring bird seeds down your drain, Jim, or at the fucking gun range, Jim, you like some motherfucker poured bird seed down, and now it's broken, and there's shit all over the ground.
I cannot believe that is your major concern right
Maybe that's
now.
why the toilet's always clogged at the fucking gym,
Oh
too. Maybe he
shit!
keeps putting shit down drains he
He's
shouldn't be.
putting bird seed down there.
Stop, dude. Come
Stop doing
on.
that.
Skull it, daddy. Chill out. Stop putting your
So,
hands in shit.
Let's
yeah,
take it home. Like, let's finish this movie
yeah,
out.
Take it home. Take it home.
our beautiful big woman pins him to the ground, and Lou considers shooting him in the face, and he's like, do it, and she, of course, decides not to, and instead lets the cops take him away, where he will be blamed for all of their crimes, and they're gonna ride off into the sunset
With the
and
cat, with the cat.
with the cat in the truck. It's beautiful.
Without the beep beep.
Yeah,
No
without the
beep beep,
No
but
beep
they
beep.
do get the truck. And as they're driving away, they still have Daisy's body in the back of the truck, rolled up in a carpet. And they're driving off, and Jackie is asleep, looking very peaceful in the window of the passenger seat. And Lou hears something from the trunk, and we realize that Daisy's still fucking alive.
Boo.
And she just goes back there and sees this ghastly white,
Because the
Brown
bullet didn't go through her
Brown-
brain; it went through her cheek. It was a gross,
Yeah,
like,
not
face
good.
shot.
she's not
Yeah.
looking good though. And she just strangles Daisy,
Baller.
and then
Yeah.
I didn't know how I
Fucking
felt
rockin'.
about any of this, but I have to say that when she's like struggling to drag the carpet off to the side of the road and has to stop to have a cigarette break.
Beautiful.
She
Mwah.
finally has the cigarette. She
She
finally
has
does
the
it.
emergency cigarette that
Yes.
woman you just killed gave you.
Gave to
And
you.
even called
was
it
in the
out
card.
as in case of emergency.
In case of emergency, where you're trying to drag my body into a ditch and
Wink.
it's too heavy because you smoke too much and you don't work out and you
And
eat
you
a
don't
lot of
drink
lean cuisine and you
water.
don't drink water and you're gonna need to stop for a cigarette break. Here you go.
It's beautiful that while everything you're describing, like as she's dragging the body, like stops and gives a huff, like, fuck, this is hard. I wish I worked out. Pulls the cigarette out and lights it. All of this is happening while the credits are already rolling.
Yes, yes. And
And
honestly,
even
when I
better-
was reading like some Rotten Tomato shit just to see what people had to say, and honestly, the only negative reviews were from weird looking white dudes. But one dude was saying how
Unsurprising.
aimless the movie was, and like, what are you talking about? Everything ties back to each
Get
other,
fucked.
especially in that moment.
time.
Like, that is the ultimate moment. Did you fall asleep jerking off and you didn't see the end of the
You
movie
missed
because
yeah.
you missed some stuff?
You
Because
missed
like
some stuff.
like so many things are tied up in that moment, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
And like especially the fact that it is all framed through the window of the truck, like it's happening almost out of frame, that
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so hilarious and so well done. And I really feel like, I don't know, that is the most intentional killing
Yes.
that happens in the entire movie. It is the most like, you had a choice not to do this.
Yes,
And
she
you
didn't
weren't in a
have to do
drug
that.
stupor when you did
And
it.
all she did was sigh, like a big heaving sigh, and go, "Well, I'm gonna
And
do
I
it."
have no clue how I'm supposed to feel about it, like emotionally, or from the perspective of like, what kind of person does this make you? And like, it all goes back to that same thing about like, we can't get away from the things that are bad for us, even though we know that they're bad for us. And here, once
Yes.
again, she is smoking a cigarette and hauling a body into a ditch.
Yep. Yep.
And of course, there's the song that plays during the credits. It's like, desert lesbians living a good life, getting away with
You're
it.
weirdly specific, huh?
I did think it was a little on the nose.
Yeah, that took me out of it, honestly.
Not enough lines about how she got big. Also,
Yeah, we need to put more respect on the fact that she got big.
she got
Let's be clear to
big.
everybody: as they drive away, she's normal size.
Yeah,
I don't
she
know
is
how
normal
she
size.
shrunk down, but it did.
It's a
for
cutaway.
For
It's
a
not.
while, Lou's big with her, and they're both like running through an aurora borealis and
Yeah.
clouds, and
Same
they're just
times.
in a beautiful fantasy.
Yeah.
This is going to be a movie. Do you have any movies in your favorites that when somebody says something unkind, it's an affront to you personally?
Yes,
Like
absolutely.
this movie is officially part of my personality. If you have something bad to say about it, you've said something bad about my son, my family, my desert lesbian family. Get out of my town.
Yes, I do. I sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's multiple, but this is one of them. This is definitely up there. And also, this is now one of my favorite movies, and this is also now on that list. So it hits both of those.
I'm gonna be
100%.
thinking about this for
Yeah.
a while to come, and still not knowing exactly like how I'm like, that's the thing, is like the moral message of it is not so clearly cut and dried. Like, the relationships are messy, and that's part of what I really love about it, is that it's not giving anybody any easy outs, any easy answers, because life's not like that.
Not to steal Kit's lines here, but I'm gonna go ahead
my
and do a
God,
service for
Garrett.
everybody because we're so far over time on this one. Longest episode
Carrie.
we've ever done.
Were we aroused?
Everybody
Garrett.
5 out of 5. Were
5
we
out of
thrilled? All
5.
5 out of 5. Would we ruin
5
our
out
life
of
for this
5.
person? Both of these
10 out
ladies,
of
we
5.
would kill
Absolutely.
everybody in the
Absolutely.
tri-state area just
Jackie
to get
for
big with them.
Lou. I want to
Yes,
big with
yes.
you. I don't want to get in between your beautiful relationship, but like, if y'all are looking for a third, I'm just
At
saying.
least let me be your bartender, like
Ah,
if not your lover, you know,
right?
like
We could just hang out. That'd be
I'll
fine.
give you water for free,
You
like for
guys
free.
need to hydrate.
Please drink some water.
But
It's
yeah,
frustrating.
it is arousing, it is thrilling,
Mhm.
and we would absolutely ruin our lives for both of the leads. I would not ruin my life for Daisy, gotta say.
No,
Definitely not ruining it for Lil Franco.
no. I'll ruin it for Happy Meal. I'll ruin it for Happy Meal too.
Yeah, it's a good
I swear to
kid.
God, Ed Harris said that bird's name was Surge, but I can't be sure.
I mean, it might be. The cat is
Maybe.
definitely Happy Meal. It's on the bowl, and it was in the credits, and I was like, Happy Meal. All right,
What
I
was in the
right.
credits
Was.
too?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was too busy watching him dance.
Yeah, there's this
Yeah.
beautiful dance, the Clint Mansell score. This falls into
Oh,
like the one
yeah.
score, like the one soundtrack of just scores a year that I will revisit and listen to. Like this was just everybody in this movie nailed it. The movie's gorgeous. It like
Mhm.
if we were ranking every movie we've done on this podcast, I mean, Bound and Love Lies Bleeding are
Top of the heap.
at the very top. Like this is
So
as
far outstripping
good as you
everything
can
else.
Yeah. Can I make you feel some feelings about both of them right now in one comment?
Yeah, let's
Please.
do it.
My last Reddit thing that I screenshotted, and I'm sorry to this user because I accidentally cut off their username, but it's a statement and an answer. If I had a nickel for every inexplicably horny lesbian movie I've watched this year, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much, but still weird that it happened twice. And then Streloka says, might be high time to watch Bound, then make it a nice 15 cents.
15 cents.
Well, I don't know. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen this movie yet, but like a week or two before this, when we did get another lesbian, not a heist movie, not necessarily an erotic thriller, but kind of a comedy. It's that movie Drive Away Dolls
Oh, how
with
is
Margaret
that? How
Qualley.
is that?
So it's getting kind of bad reviews, and I
Oh,
understand why it's getting them, but I fucking loved it. I love Margaret Qualley. It's one of the Coen brothers and his wife.
oh,
There's some directing moments that he's too good of a director to have done certain things. Like, it just kind of, there's moments that suck, but overall my enjoyment of the movie is very high. And I guess they'd been trying to make it for like a decade. The original title's Drive Away Dykes. They had so
That's so much better.
come on.
so going in, I didn't know this was a lesbian like road trip crime movie. Very fun. Like, not as good as this. Not in even in the ballpark as
No, this is
good
in
as
its
this.
own
I feel
realm.
like
But
if we
fun.
could have a genre like blossoming of lesbian crime movies, I would be so there. Like, let's make that happen. Let's have that be the new hip trend. I'm into it.
Maybe we're there.
Before we get out of here, I do want to say, Blair, I believe, because we recorded your episode months before we actually started
Oh
releasing
shit,
these.
that's right, huh? Yeah.
And since we recorded this, you have actually been on a pole dancing journey.
Yes, yes.
Hmm.
It's been I hit my year in
I did not
early
notice that there is a
February.
pole right behind you right now.
There sure is. It's a gold pole. It's very nice. I
Ooh.
I I've been pulling for a little over a year, but I do have some like ongoing, even new now, ongoing health issues. So I try to be kind to my body, but it is a
Beautiful.
thing that I do. It is true. You're correct.
So the movie we covered right before this one, which we have, this is recorded, like we have several episodes already in the can, and this is coming out before those. It gets to cut the line a little bit.
Mwahaha.
But we just did Dance with Death, which is a movie about
And
strippers
has
getting
what
murdered.
must be the worst pole dancing I've
Oh
ever
And,
no,
seen
there's so
in
much bad
my
pole
life.
dancing in movies. It's infuriating.
and we already have our good friend, which you're a friend of as well, Blair, John Veron, is coming on to do
Oh,
Strip to Kill with us.
I
But
miss him so much. Yes.
there is a Strip to Kill too. And we don't have anybody signed on to do that with us. And you're now our resident pole dancer.
No! Oh
And
my
I think a
god.
return is in order to watch a much shittier movie.
Oh,
I could
please,
be
Blair,
thrice. I
yes.
could be thrice on this
We've watched.
podcast.
You have been spoiled. We have only watched good movies with you. You
That's
now
true.
need
That
to
is
watch
true.
some absolutely heinous trash with us.
I would
Please.
love it. This is, I mean, I've been on many a podcast and I love them all, but this is in my top. And it's, I mean, I haven't gotten to meet you in person, Kit, unfortunately, but I miss you, Garrett, all the time. And I love any creative shit you do. And I'm 100% there. Even if you want to say, hey, do you want to watch this can of mayo rot in the sun? Like, I'll do
I
that
would
with
love to.
you.
Well, you already said you would watch Madam Web with me. So.
Yes,
It
I
is
will watch Madam Web.
basically the same thing. Yeah, this is identical.
Definitely the same, definitely identical.
Well,
So yes.
let's go ahead and get out of here. But Blair, what else other than your pole dancing journey, which is on Instagram? You do document frequently. What else? What else do you have going on that people should know about?
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, if you go to my main Instagram, which is Mandalorian_armoire, I do link my other profiles I have on there, including the podcast that I have with Bud, which we just haven't had time to do in so long. And I hope that this is a moment where we are inspired to do it again. Watch Big Nate while you can on Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon. And God, I don't know. Like I've just been kind of trying to juggle all that with pole dancing and my own art. So follow those and you'll see what else is coming up. Wink.
Oh,
And also Strip to Kill too.
Yes, definitely.
down the road for sure.
Down the road.
Definitely excited for that.
For sure. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. We are at Erotic Thriller Club on Instagram. We're at ETC Club on Twitter or X. I am at
No.
Gartet. Kit is at Ann Caboodle. We're Erotic Thriller Club at gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Kit, anything to say to the people?
Just that y'all should go out and see this movie, Love Lies
So
Bleeding,
fucking
because
good.
we loved it so much, and you just do yourself a favor, treat yourself, go see it. It definitely was worth it, 100%.
And as always, we love you. Thank you for listening. We want to shake you naked and eat you alive.